John says, Rishi Sunak, another arrogant PM, ? Do you really need to ask? And Chris texts, any news on the A to Z? I need something to look forward to. No, not yet, Chris. I haven't seen the Christmas schedules yet. Probably haven't been made up. East Yorkshire. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Fishy isn't as daft as he looks, because appointing Gavin Williamson with no portfolio means that he's figured out he doesn't want him to mess anything up. So he gives him no portfolio to mess up. But the other thing is, of course, Gavin Williamson used to be the chief whip for a long time.
And can't speak tonight. And he performatively used to have his whip on his desk as he had his photograph taken.
and his pet tarantula.
Oh, God, what a clown.
But he does know where the dead bodies are, and that's why, don't you remember at the time we were all saying, well, the only reason Johnson isn't firing him is because he's frightened of him. He's got enough secrets. So I think that could be quite a shrewd move if he wants to survive.
Well, people keep saying that he knows where all the bodies are buried. How many bodies are we talking about here? I mean, what is going on over in the Palace of Westminster that they have to keep a guy around who's been fired twice, to my knowledge, and has been a questionable failure at every position that he's held in government, and he certainly has not been popular. How many bodies and what exactly is it that we're talking about that they have to keep hiring him to cover up?
Well, it's not that he'll cover anything up, but I bet he knew about what was going on with Owen Paterson and Pincher and the one Lord Ahmed or whatever from Bradford, and then the tractor guy, the porno guy.
I bet it's much worse than that. Because they keep talking about him like what you just said. He's the fellow that has got all the secrets. I bet there's much worse secrets that he's holding than that.
I reckon so, but that's useful to Sunak because he can just keep a bit better control of it, I think, which is, and that's the only reason I'm speaking.
Well, what you're talking about is he'd be better inside the tent looking out than outside the tent looking in. Yes.
And by making him a minister, it gives him, 30 grand extra a year? Well, that's not bad for just sitting there, not having a portfolio.
Doing nothing, yeah.
So just a little snippet for you as well. Smug dated his letter St. Crispin's Day.
Yes.
Do you know who St. Crispin is the patron saint of?
Bankers.
Cobblers.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Appropriate.
Well spotted there, Mike. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. Cobblers, Smug.
I don't know anything.
Still in search of a fact. Still in search of a benefit. Bill says, did Elon Musk really just spend $44 billion on Twitter so that he could make his let that sink in joke? Well, I saw him carrying around a sink, and I just assumed that the joke, because I couldn't be bothered to listen to what he says, because, I don't really care. But I assumed that he was carrying around a sink in what looked like the headquarters of Twitter, because he was chucking the sink, everything. He was chucking everything at it, including the kitchen sink. I thought that was the joke. But the joke was let that sink in? Oh, that's really lame. Lucy texts, it still looks the same to me, by the way. I mean, it may change at some point in the future, but I think most people's experience of Twitter will be the same. The people that you follow are going to be, up your timeline, and the people that you don't won't. Bill says, no, Lucy says, will Rees-Mogg feel more inclined to do more about climate change if it affects his caviar supply? Helen says, does the clocks going back tomorrow mean we will have an extra portion of your show? No. No, it never does. Is it tomorrow? Oh, no. Tomorrow as in, well, it's Saturday now, so it's Saturday night, Sunday morning. I think it's at 2 o'clock, isn't it? 2 o'clock in the morning. The clocks are going back this weekend.
Oh, no.
And nobody's saying anything about it. It's almost like we've been beaten into submission. This is going to affect everybody's lives much more than almost everything else that we're talking about. Your whole body is going to go haywire on Sunday and Monday, and probably for the rest of the week. You're going to be plunged into the dark. You'll lose an hour, or do you gain an hour? I can't remember. Whichever it is. It's beyond my ability to work out right now. But it doesn't matter. You'll get jet lag. That's what it'll feel like. And you won't see the sun again for the next 5 months. It's going to be dark. It'll be like living in Denmark, but without all of the hot Danish people around. And nobody complains anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, well, this is what happens. Why does it happen? Why are we being plunged into the darkness for the next 5 months? As though winter isn't bad enough here anyway. Why is it happening? It's happening because it's what happens. And politicians don't want to change what happens unless it's going to improve their lives personally, because something bad will occur and the press will write a story about it, blaming the politician that wanted the change. So they do nothing. And everybody suffers. But, it happens twice a year and we have the same conversation, by which I mean I say the same thing without response, and we just trudge slowly into the dark, uncomplainingly. Mystery to me. Braintree. Hello, Sarah.
Oh, hello. Hi.
Sarah.
Hiya. I need your help.
Yes.
You've made me chuckle this evening. I'm so worn out with everything that's going on at the moment. I need some of your light in my life.
Right. How can I assist you, Sarah?
Okay. So the government we've got at this precise moment in time, which will probably change by Monday morning, we need a whole shake-up. We need real people. Like, I'm talking people that live in the real world. People like you, possibly, that understand that it isn't about the hedge funds. It isn't about what it is that they can make and what their mates can make.
Yeah, not me though, Sarah. You don't mean me. I am part of that lefty liberal.
I guess I would be classed. I would be classed as that myself.
Right.
Having said that, up until a few years back, I was a Conservative voter. Oh yes, indeed.
Yes.
These aren't Conservatives. These are something else. I have other names for them. I will not use them, obviously, because we're on the radio.
It's the libertarian crank wing of what used to be known as the Conservative Party.
Absolutely. And they're being allowed to just run roughshod over our whole democratic process.
They're using this country as a sort of science experiment, as an economics experiment.
Yeah.
And Liz Truss, her problem was that she wanted to go too quickly. The destination has not changed.
Exactly. They are all exactly the same. They're all after the same. They want the same ends, and it's stuff everybody else. And I'm so sick of it. I don't know. What can be done? What can be done? What can we do?
We could shrug our shoulders and go, "Oh well, mustn't grumble." That's the British way.
Yeah, and that's the answer that I get from people that I speak to, like friends and family. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. Oh, but they've done so much. Oh, Boris had such a tough time because of COVID. Blah,
Leave
blah, blah.
him alone. He's doing his best.
Leave him alone. He's a good lad. He's a good bloke. Yeah, I am. It's so nice to talk to somebody else.
You're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Absolutely. So I'd just like to say thank you to you, because you do seem to also be feeling that way and expressing it. There are a few other LBC presenters that do exactly the same.
I think what you mean is me and James O'Brien.
Absolutely, James O'Brien. Yes, he was the man. Yeah, I mean, this should be on his mystery hour. This should be like this is. I just don't know. Where do we go from here?
Right. Where do we go from here? That's an excellent
Where
question.
do we go from here?
Right,
Where
but,
do we go from here?
I don't know what the destination actually is, the final destination of this current ride, Sarah. But I do know it's going to be a bumpy one. You'd better buckle up. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. She's very, very annoyed.
Stop whining.
You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is Leading Britain's Conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Some nobody.
0345 6060 973. There's some really unhinged texts and tweets and stuff coming in. I mean, normally they can be a bit strange, but tonight it's like, what is going on here? I mean, I've just read about 10 in a row, none of which are either suitable for broadcast or make any sense whatsoever. I'll keep looking. 0345 6060 973. Tavistock. Hello, Rose.
Oh, hello, Nick. I wasn't going to ring through again tonight, but I couldn't bear the thought of you sat there staring at an empty screen earlier.
Thanks, Rose.
And, yeah, and I agreed with everything that last caller said, including thanks to you for being there, and I would add Darren as well, Darren Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think why you're getting these texts and stuff is because everyone's going crackers. It's enough to drive you mad. I'd better say what I've rung to say, haven't I? It's the inequality. I mean, it's overarching, isn't it? I was thinking about it during your earlier calls. Everything that they do, Nick, I mustn't shout, I keep shouting. Everything they do. And
Is this you shouting?
Well, I thought it was. It's echoing in my ear.
Right.
And managed to sell to people. It's designed to increase this overarching, disgusting ghastliness of inequality.
It just blows my mind that they keep saying that we're all for, levelling up and so on, and yet everything that they do is the exact opposite of what they're telling us they're interested in. I
think that's how they operate.
The amount of money that went to London and the South East compared to the North, as Boris Johnson claimed that he was interested in doing and, levelling up, it actually got worse while he was PM. More money went to London and the South East. And Rishi Sunak actually boasted about changing the formula from, I think the phrase he used was poor people in the communities in the north. Well, I managed to change that formula, and now areas like this, he said, with a sweeping movement of his arm to demonstrate some Surrey golf club that he was standing in, this area can get the money that it deserves.
It's just mind-boggling. But why I felt I would ring through after all was because before your programme, I was listening live. It's Beethoven again, I'm afraid, but I was listening live from Manchester. Was coming through just beforehand, you see. And it was Beethoven's Thunderous Ninth Symphony.
Oh, I know that one. It's what a dreamy tune. Yes.
With the choral finale.
Right.
And which is about brotherhood and unity between people, and it's about inspiring us towards this. And I was really struck by what the conductor had said earlier, because the presenter, I was in shreds for about 20 minutes after the thing. I generally am. But the conductor, Ava something, I didn't catch her surname, but in an interview that had been recorded earlier, she said, every time this work is played live, for the players, the singers and the audience, every time this work is played live, it's as if the revolution is happening now. And for that hour or so, all people are equal. And I thought that was fabulous. But
right, that's the one that goes da-da-da-da.
No, that's Beethoven's Fifth. No, the choral movement at the end is
Oh, no. Don't sing it.
No, we're not allowed to. But you shouldn't have asked me, should you?
I don't believe I did.
Is it the one that goes and then he sings Beethoven's Fifth?
Right.
What am I supposed to do?
So it's it's ninth, which is like 4 louder. Yeah.
Sorry?
9 is 4 louder than 5. Any fool know that. So you're talking about the ninth one that he did, which is
yes,
yeah.
4 later. Yes, yes, yes. It's extremely loud in parts. Yeah, it's some fabulous discords. The finale opens with this fabulous discord.
Like
and if
I
you're
said,
standing there in the audience, you just jump out of your skin.
Opens with a disco. Exactly as I said. See, there's
we must
nothing I don't know about classical music. Ask me anything.
We must revolt, but you see, if you sit there and you have this, and it's going through your body, it does change you. Right. It really does change you.
Mm. Well, that's the power of music. There you are. You're feeling happier already, aren't you? All right. Thanks a lot, Rose. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Mary emails, how come you don't attack Zahawi? He didn't invent the vaccine, he just bought it. He's not vaccine God, as you all treat him as such, says Mary. See what I mean about these messages? Paul says, someone should tell the Environment Secretary not to dish out medication as she's not working as the nurse at Hogwarts anymore. I can't remember what the nurse at Hogwarts looks like. But you're probably being offensive. Offensive.
Be polite.
Sully says, there's an article about a Somerset... No, I ain't reading that. Mike says, with Fishy, it's like Scooby-Doo. They'll tear off his mask and it'll be Bojo, chuntering that he would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those pesky kids.
Yeah. Wait.
Well, that is a good point. San Francisco. Hello, Dave.
Nick, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
We are about to get on a plane to come back to London, and a concern has come up that perhaps you can help us with.
Go ahead.
If Suella Braverman doesn't let us back in, will you be a reference for us?
Absolutely.
Well, this is assuming she's Home Secretary by the time we arrive. So over here, the media has been following the UK, shall we say, political drama with a certain amount of glee, because Joe Biden, as you know, is not very exciting. In fact, he's kind of like watching paint dry. Yeah. But you provided us a lot of great, cheap entertainment. So thank you for that. And,
well, it's our turn because you did such a great job for a little while there.
Oh, shut up!
We did better than a great job. But here it's actually kind of crazy. Someone broke into Nancy Pelosi's home yesterday.
I read that. Yeah.
And, that's just, if I stood on our roof, I could see it. And it's kind of...
He was a fan of the My Pillow guy, apparently. That My Pillow guy, and he needs a nap.
Now, I missed the start of the show, so I'll have to go back and listen to the weather forecast. Are we coming back to Glaswegian weather, or is it going to be nice when we land?
Well, it depends when you land.
We're coming around 6 in the morning.
Which morning?
Sunday morning.
Well, then you'll get one day of absolutely glorious Indian summer weather. After that, not so much.
After that, it's London walking through a car wash in slow motion. So we look forward to seeing you on the other side. And if Suella doesn't let us in, keep your phone handy.
Dave, if you don't have all of your documents in order, you won't be leaving the airport because they'll pack you on the first flight to Rwanda.
Which I hear is lovely this time of year.
Well, it is. That's right. Yeah, nicer than here. That is absolutely true. All right, thanks, Dave. 0345 6060 973. Happy landings. Sanj says, I see Richie Rich said that he was going to govern with honesty and integrity. He forgets he broke the law while he was Chancellor, and I had run and hide. Two, maybe. I had two run and hide when I saw Cruella walking towards number 10. It was like seeing the child It's like seeing the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang coming to hand out sweets and chucking everyone on that plane to Rwanda. Yeah. It does look kind of alarming, doesn't she, when she's, motivating along. Bristol. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
I'll bring it down a little bit, if that's okay. Sorry. I just think the last 12 years have been a disaster with the Conservatives. My mother-in-law died today. 12 hours waiting for an ambulance, 3.5, 4 hours waiting in an ambulance outside hospital, just with a broken hip. And she died. Sorry to bum everyone out, but it's hard.
How do you die of a broken hip?
Well, it's going to the coroner, but I've always had good experience. I had strep A 4 years ago and suspected appendicitis 2 years ago. I've always had good experiences, but call an ambulance and it's a nightmare. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm very sorry to hear that, Stephen, and I wish you all the best. But as you probably know, this is not the right show to get into that very much. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Tony tweets, one of the most influential forms of communication on the planet is now controlled by a billionaire with questionable motivations and morals. How cool is that? Says Tony. Well, I guess it doesn't become boring, if that's what you mean by how cool is that. I think he's bought Twitter. I suspect that he was caught into doing that because he sort of played with Twitter for a little while, like he does. He's sort of talking about this stuff, and he'll tweet out things, and almost as though he's just having fun. But that kind of thing moves markets and changes the economic outlook of the companies that he's talking about. So I think he got sort of cornered into having to buy it. Of course, it doesn't really make much difference to him. He's the richest man in the world, and 44 billion does seem like a lot of money, but I'm sure that it's to him, he's not going to notice the difference. Hasn't Kanye bought the other thing, Parler, whatever that is? Well, I know what it is. It's the sort of right-wing Twitter. So Twitter's now with a right-wing billionaire, and their right-wing offspring is now with a right-wing billionaire. What could possibly go wrong?
Whoop-dee-dee scoop poop.
Exactly. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hello? Number, please. Trying to connect you. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Yes, I am sorry to keep you waiting. Brendan in Belfast.
Hello, Nick. Thank you very much again for taking my call. And
yes, sir.
Great to hear you again, as usual. But I know it's a Friday night, so it's not your formatted show. I'll ring again on Sunday, and with any good, you'll let me on there. But for tonight, which is a giggly show,
giggly show. Yes.
Yes. The first, Rishi Sunak, he is being heralded as the Conservative Party can bring forth someone who's not of a white skin. You know, right. We had women. We now have a brown-skinned person who's in fact, in 2020, we had here in Ireland, which is part of Europe, by the way.
That's why you're doing so well. Yeah.
Exactly. We elected, though I didn't vote for him, we elected Leo Varadkar, an Indian, of Indian background, should I say. And he was the first Indian leader of a European country, which was Ireland. And he was also the youngest who was elected, and he was also the first openly gay. Now, those three things brought together Time magazine, Forbes, all the great in the New York Times, the Washington Post. I know you read that, you subscribe to it. But all those people were saying, wow, the world is changing. We now have Indian heritage, gay, young man leading a country in Europe, and this is going to really change things. Well, Leo Varadkar turned out within 3 months of getting in the office to be the most right-wing leader since Thatcher.
I just can't believe that people assume that because we have a non-white face in the top job, that it is somehow going to be a better outcome for those who are also non-white and those who are poor. And the idea is that they're saying, well, it's a very diverse, selection in the cabinet. No, they're not. They're all the blooming same. They're all the same. They're not defined by the colour of their skin. They're defined by their background. They were born to rich parents, and they've acquired ever more fantastically large amounts of money. It's their wealth that defines them.
Well, it's very difficult to argue with that, but the media also, I'm not sure, we don't get the same media all the time as you do, and you don't get the same media all the time as we do, and the emphasis can be different, depending on where you're reading it, and, but they're saying at the moment that Rishi Sunak, with his Indian heritage, and Leo Varadkar, who is again going to become, by default, the Taoiseach, which is the Irish for Prime Minister in Ireland, in December, and that those two Indian heritage people, when they get to meet in the European Forum, they are really going to change things. And they're not. It's absolute trash. And just to say this, I have come to I'm praying for a happy death. That's all. I'm that old now that I try to laugh at politics. Sometimes it's very, very difficult, particularly now. But what I am saying is that these people, I think it's politics for most people is a break between the advertisements of EastEnders and Coronation Street. They don't actually care, know, or have any idea other than it's a kettle moment. Right. We have a 3-minute break, put the kettle on before the schoolgirl in EastEnders gets,
and they have a little chat about who they do like and who they don't like, and it's usually informed by the paper that they read. It is, these are acquired opinions which they just reinforce by repeating them. Yeah,
and as soon as the soap opera starts again, they sort of go, politics, that would really annoy you. Then politics will keep interrupting EastEnders. It's other soap operas are available.
Are available, yeah.
Yeah, but I was always taught that you should never take the electorate for granted because they're not stupid.
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
They are. They're morons.
Just enough are morons. I think you're right. Just enough are morons. Yeah, they're surrounding us. And in closing, Brendan, I've got a test for you.
Go.
Spell Taoiseach.
Taosigh.
No.
And Liz Truss. Do you know what Liz Truss called him? The Taoiseach.
The Taoiseach, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well done, Liz. That's another great result. All right. Thanks a lot, Brendan. Wow, that should be some sort of test. I'd like to see somebody try to squeeze that word into a crossword. Taoiseach.
What?
That's how you spell that word. Blimey. And I only know that, of course, because I'm reading it off the internet. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any idea. Sebtex, when did the Conservatives steal the idea from Labour of repeating a word 3 times to try to give the impression that they really mean it? I always found the practice really odd. They stole it from Labour? And which word are you talking about? Not integrity, surely. He would never say that 3 times. Let's have Witness. Hello, June.
You okay?
June. June is listening to the radio and will be with us in 7 seconds when she realises we're on a delay. Yes, June.
Oh, I know I'm on a delay.
Yeah, you have to turn the radio down, June.
Sorry, I'm going.
Take all the time you need. It's a live show.
So,
There. Here we are live and in person.
yeah.
Go ahead, June.
Am I talking to the guy himself?
Who?
Need to be talking to?
Who?
Is the radio?
Who would you like to talk to, June?
Hi, on the radio.
Yeah, but what's his name?
Remember?
You can't remember?
No.
No. Okay, I'll put you on hold and I'll see if we can't locate I Can't Remember for you. It was June in Widnes in Cheshire. My favourite call of the show so far. Excellent work, June. Call any time you like. Marie says, number 10 advent calendar in the shops near you. A new prime minister behind every window. 1 per day from now until Jesus' birthday. Den texts, Sunak has my support as I've just kept the promise. Should he become PM, I have joined the Conservative, says Den, which makes as much sense as anything else I've heard on this show so far. Hinkley, hello, Joe.
Hello, Nick.
Joe.
Oh, what a day.
I know. It's a very, very bizarre day. Somebody check out the window. Is it a full moon? Not that should have make any difference one way or the other, but just seems
I hope not. We don't need any more chaos, do we?
A bit odd.
Yes, quite. First, I just want to offer condolences to your caller a few calls back who lost their mother-in-law. Obviously, that's very sad, and I think the whole LBC family obviously offers their condolences there. I'm calling because I feel like we might be on a wavelength here in kind of looking at the world and just thinking, why are people so angry? Why are people so hateful to one another? It's just...
Are they?
Well, I just mean, it's there doesn't seem to be a compassion here. It seems like we're...
I'm not sure that's true. I think that the people have compassion. I just think that they keep voting for leaders that don't.
Well, do you know what? I will concede that point, Nick. You're probably exactly right there. I think it's just perhaps the discourse isn't right. We're very much, it's I'm wearing a red scarf, you're wearing a blue scarf, and that's it. There's no middle ground at all. There's nowhere for us to have a conversation.
I think that people have compassion on an individual level. If you see somebody that is in trouble in the street and you're the only person around that can help them, most people would help them. It's just that when it's not on an individual level, when we're talking about generalities, when we're talking about it's those people over there, like a sort of an amorphous group of people that might be holding you back or bringing us down or not being patriotic enough and so on. When it's just a mob that you're talking about, then people, their worst instincts come out and they say and do awful things. But on an individual level, when we're just reacting somebody as to somebody's plight as a human being, I think people have got no end of empathy.
Yes, yeah. I concede that point. It's more just the broader discourse. You're right. On an individual level, people are generally speaking, lovely.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Let's listen to all of the callers that have called in this evening.
And then, but you put somebody in a gang, and if you put somebody in a gang, then you will see their worst side.
Well, you take their opportunities away. You take their chances at being better away, and they have no other opportunity. You know, and I just.
I'm not sure that's right. I don't think that's it.
I just think that they're just. Okay, please go ahead.
Well, I don't think being in a group, in a gang, takes your opportunity to be nice away. I think it rather gives you. No. I think it gives you the opportunity to be not nice, whereas you don't have and remain anonymous in a group. Whereas if you're an individual, then you can still be not nice. It's just that everybody knows that it's you who's not being not nice, who's not being.
Yes, quite. It was more what leads those people to get into the gang in the first place.
Right. Well,
everybody. You're 100% right. Once you're in the gang,
everybody likes to belong.
It's exactly. Yes, we all need we all feel like we need. Well, it's not just that we feel like we're animals, aren't we? At the end of the day, we need a group. We need a family. You know. But you sort of derailed me a little bit.
Well, I tell you what, Joe. There is an answer to your problem.
Please, I would love to know.
Okay,
the answer
it's
to my
very
problem.
simple. Turn off social media. Turn it off.
Oh, I have. It's tragic. Yes, you're 100% right. I was deeply depressed, deeply stressed. I've had to go to therapy.
Turn the computer off and walk away from the screen. Trust me.
Turn off the social media.
Exactly.
Turn off the commentary. Don't read the comments on the news articles and stuff.
Warning. Never read the comments on a newspaper. Don't do it. Not now. Not ever. Never. And certainly don't contribute to those comments, because then you will be down the rabbit hole with no way out. Thanks a lot, Joe. Wish you all the best. Just keep in mind that people can be nice. Just don't expect them to be nice if there's more than about 3 of them. Or individuals, mostly yes. Groups, mostly no. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
Tom emails. Oh, you're not going to like this. Maybe I'll save this one for later on, because you probably won't want to hear about spiders last thing at night. All right, I'll save that for later. I mean, tonight when I come in. Andrew says, I was ashamed to learn from Joe Biden that I'd been mispronouncing the PM's name. I offer heartfelt congratulations to Rashid Sunak. Yeah, that's that Rashid Sunak from your Great Britain land. Orpington. Hello, Ronnie.
Oh, hello.
Ronnie.
Joe, how are you?
I am great, mate.
Good. So I just thought we'd change the narrative. Did you see the repair shop with Prince Charles? Oh, it was King Charles, might add.
Was that on tonight?
Well, I know I watched it on Catch Up.
Oh.
So all I was thinking was, I've got a 13-year-old. I went, come and look at this, all the stuff they do. You can imagine the rolling of the eyes. But I just thought it was really nice, the way that he went in there, and I just thought I was going to moan about Rishi Sunak and his millions. I thought, let's change the narrative. It's a bit boring now. We all know he's got loads of money, but I thought it was really lovely that he was trying to encourage youngsters to keep up all these really good trades.
The skills, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you don't keep them up, then they will be gone forever.
Ever. And do you know what? Bloody hell, if someone, when I was a kid, if someone had said that to us, because when we were kids, it was like, oh, you'll be a secretary or you'll do that.
Yeah.
But like I said, when you say to the kids, oh, look at this, and they just roll their eyes and go back on an Xbox. But they do, don't they? And I just thought, God, do you know what? And like, I've got horses. And when I look at that Susie, I think...
Horses?
God, no.
Did you say horses?
Yes, I have horses.
You have horses?
I have horses, yeah.
What do you do with them?
Shut up. I go drag hunting. Don't start. It's drag hunting. We hunt the quarry, which are runners, not animals.
Hunt drag acts. Yeah, I get it. They're very hard for them to run in those heels. Yeah, they just can't do it.
Keep running, girls.
Hey, does that show make you cry? Because I start tearing up just thinking about it.
Oh my God! Everything, that show is brilliant. Whoever made that up, it is just such a good concept.
It is.
But then if you go on everything else, then you've got all the other ones like trying to do it. But yeah, the King Charles ones was great. It's all about
don't tell us. I haven't watched that one yet, but just that show in general. Every time I watch it, it's you know that they're doing it to you. They're deliberately doing it to you by picking the people that are going to get all choked up because it was something that belonged to their granny and all of that.
Everyone's dead, and there will something out. But on this, when Prince Charles was in there with Jay Blades, was ever so familiar with him, kept touching him. I thought, don't touch him. It's royalty. The Queen wouldn't have it. Yeah, but Jay Blades was a bit over familiar, I felt.
Right. I don't know who that is, but I'll...
You know who Jay Blades is? He's the presenter of it.
Right. Oh, okay. But I've only seen it a couple of times because I every time I see it, I feel I am being manipulated here by the producers of that show who just want me to cry. And, if you play sad music in a coffee commercial, I'll be sitting there with tears going down my face.
I can't look at a puppy, a baby, I'm spoiled.
I'm a very emotional person, Ronnie.
Me too. I'll make you right. Me too. But, yeah, to have a look at it, and I just thought, let's change the narrative, because I was going to start moaning about these bloody millions. I thought, for God's sake, everyone else has.
Everyone else has, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, I just swore, sorry. So he's loaded. But
you got in just under the wire. Excellent work there, Ronnie.
I know. But, so I just thought I'd just say that. And then if anyone watched it, if you're feeling a bit fed up, it's quite sort of comforting viewing.
Right. Well, that sounds like exactly what we're after. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Ronnie. Yeah, I do feel as though I'm being taken advantage of when I watch that programme. I've seen it about 3 times now. I forget when it's on. It's sort of Sunday evening fare, isn't it? You'd think that it would be like Antiques Roadshow, that kind of thing. But what a genius idea. And you'd think that they would have got laughed out of the meeting. Or what I want to do is some people can bring in their broken down old stuff and then we'll have somebody mend it for them. That sounds like a terrible show. But it isn't. It's very, very good. If you want to, burst out crying. Every now and again, it's better out than in. Let's have Widnes. Hello, June.
Hello.
June.
Oh.
June.
Oh, yeah, I'm still here.
Still where? Was that the caller that I was talking to, or rather not talking to, some while ago? See, like I said, what on earth is going on with this show? I'll put you on hold, June. Stoke-on-Trent. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
Chris.
How's it going? You okay?
Yeah, maybe I should have put you on hold and talk to June. What do you think?
Well, it's up to you. I want to talk about Rishi Sunak, but if you don't want to, then we can go to June.
Okay, let's briefly talk about Rishi Sunak. What do you think? How's he doing so far?
I think it's an absolute joke. I think it's a shambles. The fact that they've been able to change leader and try and change the face of the Tory party is not democracy as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know who they're kidding. It's the same people going in the same direction to the same destination.
Well, exactly. And this destination isn't what is required for the country. This is not appropriate. We need a general election now, and we need to make sure that this doesn't happen.
Well, it's happening. It's happening to you right now, Chris. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Precious little that's good is going to come of it. I can't imagine that it will. It's not like we haven't experienced any of it already. 12 years. And like I said, the destination is the same. It's just the way that we're getting there is slightly different. Liz Truss wanted to blast through hedges and over fields to get there in a straight line. Rishi Sunak's going to take a slightly more scenic route, but the destination is the same. And you might be surprised to learn, Chris, that you are in complete agreement with Jacob Rees-Mogg.
My view is the change of leader requires a general election. My view is the change of leader requires a general election. My view is the change of leader requires a general election.
His view is that a change of leader requires a general election, unless it's the Conservative Party who are doing it, in which case please disregard everything he said on any issue.
I don't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. All right, thanks a lot, Chris. Keith texts, my doctor retired recently, and after a tincture or twain, we agreed that voting Tory should be included in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders under self-harm. Working class members of the Tory party should be institutionalised for the protection of the public, says Keith. Well, as long as you don't say anything controversial, Keith. I'll be back tonight at 10 o'clock, trying to get through the 11 pages of closely typed texts and emails and so on that I didn't manage to get through tonight. Coming up at 4 o'clock, it's Richard Spur. But first, Clyde Ball. 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 But first, Clyde Ball.